Hey, Planeswalkers, Mithras here. Hope you're doing well and staying safe. We got a lot coming at you today, and I am extremely excited, not because of the Mythic qualifier here that I have. I did finish at 1151 and look forward to playing in that, so you guys stay tuned. But I'm actually more excited about our very own, a longtime supporter, Han Horling, on hitting the top 100 with Athreos Prison. So congratulations, Han. Hats off to you. You guys can see my COVID non-cut there. And I just want to say I'm very excited for you, and I will give original deck credit, as always, to CGB for the best of one here. I did modify it for best of three, so stay tuned for that. And additionally, kudos to Andrea Minucci as well, as being that Doom Foretold master. So Planeswalkers, before we get started here, as always, timestamps down below for you because we got a lot coming at you. We're going to cover the deck objective and strategy. We'll do a deep dive on the deck. We'll cover the main board. We'll talk about the sideboard. We'll pull those both together for you into a how-to best of three guide. And then additionally, I'll go play some competitive Magic, both in best of one and best of three. That is raw, my friends. So we will go with that today. And if you do have questions or comments throughout the video, please let me know down below. I'd love to hear from you and do my best to respond. Or additionally, you can hop into the Discord server. So with that said, before we hop into what we got going on in the menu today, I just want to say thank you. I truly appreciate your support. Please feel free to subscribe to the channel down over there as I try and make it towards 10,000 subs this year, and like the video, my friends. All right, so let's go ahead and check out today's deck, Athreos Prison. So super excited about this. You could make the honest conclusion that the deck title should be called Orzhov Yorion Athreos Prison, but we'll go with Athreos Prison for short because that's just a mouthful and an earful. Now, as discussed quickly here, high level strategy of the deck, we'll run through briefly so you guys can see everything that's going on. And as I'm doing this, the deck list is available for you down below right away, so you do have access to it in the description, and the deck links are there. So hopefully that was a fast and furious view. We do have a lot going on with this deck. So a key linchpin of this is Athreos or Athreos. Here it's a legendary enchantment god. It's indestructible, just like the other gods. If our devotion is less to something, in this case white and black, in less than 7, this isn't a creature, but some cool key interactions with this deck. At the beginning of our end step, put a coin counter on another target creature. Whenever that creature with a coin counter on it dies or is put in exile, return that card to the battlefield under your control. So it's really about all sorts of things. If you are able to get to 6, get this guy on the board, you got Doom Foretold backing it up, you got a ton of kill spells and a ton of exile spells helping you build that board state. So instead of like the rogue attacking and then casting, you actually have something where you remove their guy and you get them. So very, very fun, very impressive. It's great best of one. Like I said, I have a best of 3 sideboard here that you guys can stay tuned for. And then obviously we have our good old buddy Yorion here. Now, this does well. I would say it gets fairly evenly across all portions of the game, but traditionally the Esper Doom decks, or any Doom deck in general, tends to be more of a late game deck. It is well positioned because, again, it's best of one in terms of the early game as well, so making it a very balanced deck across the board. So with that said, Planeswalkers, that is kind of the key objective around this deck, and it is Orzhov because the white and the black color pairing, and which is the plains and the swamps, giving us the Orzhov schema, and then Aether or Athreos because of this guy right here, which we talked about some of those key interactions. So the reality is all about surviving the early game, trapping your opponent, and then getting to the state either with the Doom Foretold or in a traditional Orzhov Doom Foretold manner, or leveraging something like Athreos, long-term game, those kinds of things. And what you'll see here is you don't have as much draw engine with Treacherous Blessing. You do have one here, and we'll get into that a little bit for the best of 3. So Planeswalkers, at a very fast pace, at a very high level, that is the objective of this deck. That is the goal of this deck, is locking down your opponent, controlling the early game, getting to the mid-range game, locking them down with things like Doom Foretold. And as you enter a later game, now you're turning everything against your opponent. And always good news, my friends, when you have Doom Foretold here, you can end Athreos out. You can always sack your Doom instead of losing Athreos. So something to remember. And there is not as much removal in terms of Athreos. So just remember that and keep that in mind. There are relatively few things that can take this off the board. So very, very important and very, very exciting. So this guy's got a special place in my heart. When I came back to Magic and competitive Magic, I would say I started playing back around the original Athreos block right after Ravnica. So excited about that. That is what we got today. Now we're going to talk about everything in terms of the deck. We saw it in its totality, so we'll dive into each piece individually. So here we have Yorion Sky Nomad. Again, this is a legendary creature. I love the Bird Serpent. I love it. It's a flying companion. And what companions do, they have a constraint and then they have a plus. The constraint, and maybe a lot of people don't even find this as a constraint these days, but our starting deck must contain at least 20 cards more than the minimum deck size. Standard's got a 60 deck, so we play with 80. And then when Yorion enters the battlefield, we get a nice little blank. We can exile any number of other non-land permanents we own and control, return those permanents to the battlefield at the beginning of our next end step. Then in the 1-drop spot, we got Blood Chief's Thirst. So this can either destroy target creature or planeswalker with converted mana cost 2 or less at sorcery speed, or we can kick it and destroy those either way. Then we have Omen of the Dead. So this is a really cool flash enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, we can return target creature card from our graveyard to our hand. So that gives us a lot of ability to bring things back. And then at 3, we can sacrifice it and scry for 2. At the 2-drop slot, we got Charming Prince. Charming Prince is a nice enabler in terms of a creature. We can choose one of the following. We can either scry 2, gain 3 life, or exile another target creature we control, and then return that to the battlefield under our control at the beginning of the next end step. We also have the good old Glass Casket. So this exiles a target creature with casting cost 3 or less until it leaves the battlefield. And again, it's an artifact. A lot of people always forget that. We got Shepherd of the Flock. So a nice little bounce here where it's a adventure creature. So it's Usher to Safety is an instant adventure spell where we can return target permanent we control to its owner's hand. So not just creatures, we can return our enchantments as well, per se. And then we also got a nice 3/1 body. This is played heavily in the Selesnya Adventures decks. We have the Birth of Melodies here. So here, a nice little saga where it does 3 things. 1, we can go pull a basic land, shuffle. We can create a 0/4 colorless artifact creature wall with Defender. And then 3, we can gain 2 life. I love seeing this card here, Acquisitions Expert. So even though it's not really stacking with anything else in our deck, and let's just check there. Yes, not stacking with anything else in our deck. Acquisition Expert will enter the battlefield. Target opponents can reveal a number of cards from their hand to the number of creatures in our party, and we choose one of those cards, and that player discards that card. So not only do we get a creature or a body and something that we can sack or bounce for 2, we also get them to either disrupt their play or lose a card out of their hand, which gives us a ton of value for this card. Then we have Heartless Act, a nice instant spell where we can either destroy target creature with no counters on it or remove up to 3 counters. Then we have Omen of the Sun. So this flash enchantment enters and creates 2/+1/+1 human soldier creature tokens. We also gain 2 life. And then similar as some of the other enchantments like Omen of the Dead, we can pay 3, we can scry 2, and then sack it as well. We have Skyclave Apparition. I will never not stop hounding about this card. Very powerful here from Zendikar's Rising. One of the most powerful, particularly in white. When it enters the battlefield, we exile up to 1 target non-land, non-token permanent we don't control with converted mana cost 4 or less. And then when it leaves, our opponents will get a XX blue illusion creature token where X is the converted mana cost. But again, this is something that pairs really nicely with Athreos. And we can bounce it. We can do all sorts of things. Very, very powerful in this deck construct. We have Elspeth's Nightmare. This is another saga that does 3 things. First, destroy target creature an opponent controls with power 2 or less. Reveal their hand, choose non-creature, non-land card from it. That player discards that card. 3, exile target opponent's graveyard. So very powerful. Again, plays very well. We have 1 Treacherous Blessing. So this enchantment we can enter, draw 3 cards. So a nice hand refiller. Whenever we cast a spell, we lose 1 life. Pairs well with Doom. And when it becomes the target of a spell or ability, we sacrifice it instead. We got good old Agadeem's Awakening. So I was actually surprised to only see 1 of this in the deck. But you could always run more, particularly because it is a Yorion deck. We do have some life gain, so it's not terrible. This modal land allows us to return from our graveyard to the battlefield any number of target creature cards that each have a different converted mana cost X or less. So it gives us the ability to pull a lot back. Athreos all the way down, I believe. So you can keep that in mind. You're going to get a lot of value at 4, so that would be 7 for all these things. So you can also keep that in mind. Or it can enter as a land that's either tapped or kind of that pain land. Not a shock, I mean a true shock, but you do pay 3 life and then it enters in untapped. We have the good old Archon of Sun's Grace. I think it's great in this deck. I like it in Orzhov. I like it in Focus Enchantment decks. It's got a flying lifelink. Pegasus creatures we control have lifelink. It's also got Constellation, so whenever an enchantment enters under the battlefield, we get the trigger's going to happen, and we'll create a nice little 2/2 white Pegasus creature token with flying. Pairs well again with a 1-drop enchantment that also gives us a 2/2 flyer with lifelink as long as we have Archon Sun's Grace on the board. Very powerful. Then we have Extinction Event. 3 of these bad boys in here. Choose odd or even. Exile each creature with converted mana cost of the chosen value. 0 is even. That's how you're going to hit your tokens, so keep that in mind. Then we got Hagra Mauling. So I'm a huge fan of this modal land. I'm glad to see there's 2 in this. Here it enters the battlefield tapped, or we can destroy target creature with it for 4 and 1 less to cast if each opponent controls no basic lands. We have good old Doom Foretold here. So here, this is a very, very popular archetype across many flavors, but Doom Foretold in this deck, obviously it's an enchantment. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player sacrifices a non-land, non-token permanent. If that player can't, they discard a card, they lose 2 life. You draw a card, you gain 2 life. You create a 2/2 white Knight token with vigilance, then sacrifice Doom Foretold. Any card that says a lot probably does a lot, so pay attention. And this is one of those, and it's a very, very popular card, and pairs even better in the trap formula here that we got going on with Athreos. Then we have Elspeth Conquers Death, a awesome 5-drop enchantment, another saga where we can exile target permanent and opponent controls with converted mana cost 3 or more. Also, non-creature spells our opponents cast cost 2 more to cast until next turn, and then for 3, we return target creature or planeswalker from our graveyard to the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on, or a loyalty counter on it. And then we got 2 Yorions in the main board. And then last but not least, we already talked about Athreos Shroud Veiled. Again, very excited to see this card. And then last but not least, good old Emeria modal. So again, that 3-pane shocker that can come in tapped or untapped, or a nice other alternative where we can create 2/4/4 white angel warrior creature tokens with flying. Non-angel creatures we control gain indestructible until our next turn. So very, very powerful there, my friends. So that's what we have going on. Again, here are all the lands. Really, really like the deck. A couple things that I would suggest. Again, I didn't hit 80, Han did, and CGB created the deck, but something that I would consider is another Agadeem's, because we do have the life gain. Also, because I'm a huge fan of long-term matchup, I would consider maybe 2 Crawling Barons in here as an alternative for blocking, and an alternative on the offensive if we need to, because we do have a ton of lands, and in particular we're running 26, plus a good old number of modals. So we're pretty well set. So that's just a consideration that I would make in terms of some of these things. Bonders isn't going to be good because most of these guys are not 4. You only got Yorion. You do have Athreos as well, but at that point it's kind of really late in the game. So that would be my one suggestion in terms of a couple changes. But I do really like this, and I'm a huge fan of not 4-ofs on everything, so nice work on that because I like options if you guys haven't figured that one out yet. So that is the main board, my friends. Now we're going to talk about the sideboard here. So what I've gone ahead and procured for you is a rough copy of a best of 3 lineup. I always coach in terms of making it your own, particularly the way you like to play, but this is a great start for you in terms of the current meta, in the terms of how I would change things. What you're really doing is moving into a more traditional Orzhov Doom deck with this. Additionally, it's also giving you access to getting rid of other things that you might not necessarily be able to get rid of unless you had things like Doom Foretold, and it pairs better against some of the late game decks that you may run into, or if you run out of steam in terms of draw. So with that here, we have Banishing Light. When Banishing Light enters the battlefield, exile target non-land permanent opponent controls until Banishing Light leaves the battlefield. So continuing on the exile theme with Athreos here, this should help propel that. Additionally, this allows us to take things like planeswalkers off the board, as well as artifacts our opponents might own, instead of just only having access through the sack in Doom. So you're going to play this against things like Gruul. You can play this against other Doom Foretold decks, whether in late game decks. You can also play it against things like Big Red, Mono Black Control. Lots of great spots for this, and also mid-range if you need another option, and that's more the creature-based one. So nice addition there. We also have Elspeth's Nightmare, so I already covered this one. I like this in the early game matchup. The additional kill spell's nice. The ability to disrupt our opponent's hand is nice, and particularly if you can get them to pitch a cleave against things like Mono Red, or a Great Henge, or cleave against things like Gruul. That's a nice little consideration there. I also like this against the rise of the Rakdos Escape and the traditional Rakdos midrange and other decks now that are utilizing the graveyard, like Jund, so pay attention. I just did a Jund midrange one yesterday, so you guys can check that out. This just gives you another option there, so at that point I would move to that 4 of, because you want to make sure that you're hitting what you need to in terms of their key engines. Then we got Treacherous Blessing. So I'm a huge fan of the additional refill on our hands, the huge draw, in particular towards kind of the best of 3. This makes more sense. Allows us to play better at the mid-range and the late games. You know, you're not going to get penalized as much because the play style is a little bit different. So adding back Treacherous Blessing into what we have going on is good. I like this against Rakdos mid-range. I like it against things like Selesnya, Sultai mid-range, even the Jund mid-range one that we just talked about. And then a lot of the late game decks, control decks, Dimir, Azorius, those kinds of things. Then I got Archon of Sun's Grace. So we already talked about this card. I like this in the early to mid-game lineup. So this is going to be things like Mono Red. This is going to be things like Gruul. This is going to be things like even Rakdos mid-range, Selesnya, Adventures, food decks, those kinds of things. Then I have Shatter the Sky in here. I really am a huge fan of Shatter the Sky. Additionally, it pairs well with Extinction Event, allows us to get another look and opportunity at wiping the board, and again continues to build off of our trap here, where if that creature dies or is put in exile, we get it under the battlefield under our control. So additional synergies with the deck. Pairs well against aggro decks, pairs well against mid-range decks, late game decks, probably not so much. So I would play this against things like food. I'd play this against things like Gruul. I'd play this against Mono Red, Winata decks, Boros Knights, Warriors decks, Mardu decks, all those kinds of things. Then we got Elspeth Conquers Death. We've talked about this one already. I would shore it up in terms of the mid-range to late game matchup. You're going to be playing this against like things like gruul aggro, again, Rakdos, Escape, or mid-range, Selesnya, Jund. Lots of good spots for this. Great in the mirror match. Take off your opponent's Skyclaves, take off your opponent's Espers, or sorry, Doom Foretold, those kinds of things. Then last but not least, an additional one that I really like, I like Realm Cloak Giant in this deck because, one, destroy all non-giant creatures, plays well in the early game, a little bit more expensive if Shattered, a little bit more expensive than Extinction Event, still pairs well with Athreos, gives us a very, very powerful body on the board that can change things. So I like this, again, against some of those aggro matchups like Mono Red, Boros Knights, Boros Warriors, Winata decks, Landfall decks, so many things. You guys check out the tier list. There's just way too many decks, standard. But very, very cool, very, very awesome. So that's one of the reasons why I threw this in here. So that is the sideboard I pulled together for you guys. I think it gives you a good start. You can obviously change it up to what you think, or you see with kind of in your tier or your gameplay or your style, but that's just mine. And then we'll talk about here now how we align to the aggro, the mid-range, and the late game matchup. So for particular to aggro, again, we're fairly well positioned, but I am a huge fan of a many to one. So anytime that I can take off multiple cards off the board with one card and gain an advantage, I'm going to do so. So I like Shatter the Sky here. I also like Archon of Sun's Grace, Banishing Light, potentially Elspeth's Nightmare for sure, just on the kill spell, because we'll get the value off the saga here. So realistically, and you could play Realm Cloak Giant because this doubles up as a mid-range to late in terms of an early game matchup. So I would say anywhere between 4 and 6 here that we have. What would I remove? One, you're going to lose value on Elspeth, in my opinion. You're also going to lose value on Yorion to some extent, depending on what it is that you're playing. Most of the things are going to pop off the board. You'll still get some value from this guy. You'll still get some value from this guy, some value, but just not as much as you might think the longer the game progresses. Obviously, you still got Doom Foretold. So what I would look to potentially get rid of, I like Omen of the Death. I'd probably still, or Omen of the Dead. I'd probably still remove this, to be honest, because we're just going to have so many cards. And if we have more creatures on the board anyway, like Archon and access to Realm of the Cloak Giant, we're going to be better off. But I do like this pairing with Archon of Sun's Grace. So that's kind of what I'd look at. I look at Omen of the Dead. I still like Blood Chiefs. I like these here on hand smoothing, removal. I still like Acquisitions Expert. The body and the removal's good. You could look at this one. Where I actually would look at is removing Treacherous Blessing. I think that's one. I like Omen of the Sun just for the life gain and the additional blockers if you need to. You could then look at removing Extinction Event and actually hitting everything with Shadow of the Sky instead of being picky. And then also the Elspeth. So we got a nice little spot that we can look at. Again, 3, 2, 8 there, a couple other things depending on how you like to play. You could always go Treacherous. I still like the one of in it, even for that lineup. But those are some considerations. You could always move in another Treacherous, and that's kind of how I would think through it. So that's kind of the aggro matchup. When we talk about the mid-range, our opponents are going to be playing things like Rakdos Escape, Rakdos mid-range, Jund mid-range, also Selesnya, could consider an aggro or gruul aggro deck, potentially as mid-range. So when we think about that, we got to look at things a little bit differently. If they're creature-based, go back kind of similar to the way that we did for aggro, Shatter the Sky, Realm Cloak, those kinds of things. If not, I would look to move towards Elspeth's Nightmare if they're utilizing the graveyard. Otherwise, Banishing Light's helpful. Adding in the Treacherous Blessings, if they're more control based, is going to be more beneficial. I still like Archon of Sun's Grace in here. And Elspeth of Conqueror's Death might not give us as much value, but something to consider and remember. Gruul aggro, yes. Selesnya, potentially. In the Rakdos, not so as much, but more so in the Jund side, yes. And the newer kind of Rakdos Escape, maybe. So I would consider anywhere between 4 to 8, to be honest, on this in terms of the lineup and the matchup that we would look at. What would I look to remove? Omen of the Dead again. Glass Casket's going to be a nice target. Shepherd of the Flock could actually be a target as well. I still like the opportunity to bounce things and still have the body if you need. Acquisitions Expert I like, but if they're already filling their graveyard, you're kind of helping them do a favor. Actually, you're not necessarily doing as much good, so that could be a target. Charming Prince could be a target, except I actually like Scry 2 the best of this. The bounce is nice, but I like Scry 2. And then again, if they aren't leveraging graveyard so much, Elspeth's Nightmare might not be a choice. The rest of these, again, are going to depend on more creature-based or control-based, but that's kind of how I look at it, and that should give you plenty of options. There was 2 there, 5, could be another 8. Additionally, let's say 2 here, so that's 10, and how you want to line up in this space as well. So lots of great considerations there, great pairings for this sideboard. Then last but not least, we got late game decks. So mirror match, anything Doom, Yorion, excuse me, Doom, Yorion, on the late game, Dimmer control, Azorius control, those things. I would look to play this a lot differently. Elspeth's Nightmare is probably not going to do much unless they're leveraging their graveyard. I would definitely go Treacherous Blessing. I would definitely go Arcane of the Sun's Grace. Elspeth Conquers Death might be a consideration depending on how they're playing. Doom decks for sure. If not, because you can hit Doom, you want to make sure you're exiling Doom. If not, another interesting play is just moving in Realm Cloak Giant for a 7/7 body. They're not going to see that coming. So it's a nice consideration. Additionally, if they do get a couple of creatures on the board, it gives you an opportunity to kind of wipe those. What would I remove? 1, Omen of the Dead might not be as good. Blood Chief's Thirst might not be as good. If you are playing more of the control matchups, though, you're going to want to, and I'm saying like mono red or mono black control, you're going to want to be able to hit Ugin. Blood Chief's Thirst gives you another opportunity. Omen of the Dead, Glass Casket's probably out. Acquisitions Expert can help here, unless they're like an Esper Doom, where they're going to play Dance with the Mance, so you just got to be a little bit careful depending on how they're discarding, but obviously if you get Mance out of their hand, it's going to be good. Elspeth's Nightmare might not provide as much value, but the fact that you can see their hand always helps. Again, getting Treacherous Blessings in here is going to be important. Extinction Event might not be as powerful. Again, you could pull in Realm Cloak Giant, sub that in for Extinction Event kind of a thing. And you're still going to be able to wipe the board. Exile is important, but in this case, it's also about utility. So with that said, Planeswalkers, that should give you a good purview and wrap it up nicely with the bow in terms of a how-to for best of 3 and a guide, and give you a nice start with a sideboard that I pulled together for you. Definitely, certainly competitive. Pairs very well with this deck. Again, it's kind of moving in towards a traditional Orzhov Doom deck a little bit, but still leveraging Athreos here. And I will certainly tell you, you get to 6, you get this guy moving, it is a powerhouse, my friends. So with that said, Planeswalkers, hope you guys enjoyed this. We're going to move ahead into the best of 1 and best of 3 now. So let's go ahead and do that. Here's what we go. Standard ranked, best of 1, Orzhov, Athreos Prison. So we are on it right now. Planeswalkers, again, huge thank you. I truly appreciate your support. Please feel free to subscribe to the channel down over there. Trying to hit 10,000 subs. Additionally, like the video if you enjoyed it, and other great ways to support the channel down below. So let's go ahead and get right into our play. I like this. We got 3. We got a pullback. We got Arcane of Sun's Grace. We got Bloodthirst. So we're going to keep it. As we're here and we're on the play, we'll take that. Just want to say you guys can also check out my Untapped profile down below and follow my journey here to Mythic every month and every day, whatever you guys want to call it. I will do this. take that guy off the board. And I do have the companion app down there, so that if you want to track your own statistics, share your journey, I'm always a huge fan of that. So we're playing a mono white aggro type deck today in best of 1. If we can get to 4, we're going to be looking pretty good here. So we'll see. So good news is we can pop this, pop it back, pop this, pop it back, kind of a thing. And that's going to be very healthy for us as we move in here. And we're definitely going to need that to just delay here. Now the question is, I could double block, but I'm not going to. So that would be a choice to make them remove. Probably could have been a good one, but good news is we now get our flyer, which is what I needed, as long as they don't got my favorite in here. So I'm actually going to do damage here. I'll take the 4 because I still have Arcane of Sun's Grace. I can get the life back. I have this one as well. Next turn, I can set up a really nice play. And at this point, what I need to do is I need to... and the question is, the actual question, there we go. This is real nice. I'm going to get slightly greedy here. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to play this first. So what I will do, and I'm setting this up because Doom Foretold is going to be nice, but I need to be protective in terms of my value. They got Luris, they got Recursion right now. So we need to be pretty smart about how we're doing this. And next turn, I can pop Omen back with Shepherd of the Flock. I can recast Omen, and then I'm going to start doubling up on a ton of these flyers. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to block single-handedly every turn as long as they don't have the removal on the board yet. So I'll do that. And then what I'm going to start doing is just trying to out-damage them if I can. That's going to be the pace at which I'm going to have to play. And I don't know if we're going to be fast enough. We'll find out quickly. And we'll go from there. And we'll see if we can set them up. All right, Joe, let's see what we got. Oh, I like it. I like it. So here's what we do. We pull this back. We're going to get 2. So now we can choose if we want to block these guys here. Oh, they went early. They went early on that. That's fine. This is the guy I wanted to get. And you know what? We can double block here and make him... Well, this card's going to help him, so we'll keep the flyer there. We'll do that, because we can do more damage still. So now they can only pull 1 back, though. That's fine. We can deal with that. So we hit Lurrus here. We'll swing in. Grab this guy over. Now we got nice card advantage. And we'll just keep blocking this guy here. My guys are even. They're all even. I think we save this for now. I think we're okay. And the only things I'm going to pop back, these. All right, we should have lethal here. No Athreos. Boom, there we go. 1 for Han. All right, on to our next best of 1 match here, my friends. So a great start into what we have going on today. Let me shift that up. My lighting was kind of bad. All right, there we go. On to our next one here with Athreos Trap. All right, we get access to our 2 colors. Our opponent goes first, so I'll keep it. I'm going to play the Fabled first. All right, so we got an Adventures deck. I can go 2 here. This might hurt me. Let's go just grab 1. So there's less planes, but we can go planes already, so let's do that. Good old gruul. Alright, so we're okay there now. So the question is, do I take it off the board? I think I do, because I don't like the card draw advantage. I'm okay with that. So here's the other trick with the Shepherd. So what we're gonna do, it's Brash Tonner, there you go. We're gonna block, and then we'll pull it back with Shepherd. We'll get this last card hopefully out of their hand. So now it's going to be a top deck match for them. There we go. Not so much for us. I'm actually going to do this so we can start doing damage. There we go. Even better. We'll see if they trade. We lock out the Great Engine and we'll be in a good spot. We got a few things next turn that we can do. As long as they don't double up here. There we go. Nice. So we'll have to go in full control. So the way this will work here is we'll pop an Omen of the Sun. As long as they didn't top deck 2 creatures. Oh. Say it would be okay. There, they got it. We're okay. We're going to come back, my friends. We'll see. So on the stack, we'll flash this in. Going to sack this. There we go. And we can go main. Oh, we don't have the mana base. Oh. don't have the mana base. One short. We have to hit. We have to hit. There we go. So we'll sack the casket. Give him the draw. We'll take our draw. Go to our main. We can pull off this. And we'll go odd. And just gone. They have card advantage. But we now have Athreos. There we go. They're going to look at that. They're going to read the card. We'll see how it goes. Oh, I want to get this to work so bad, you guys. I'll take the 5. As long as they don't have a cleave. Could be there.
Every mutation displays nature's ingenuity. Diversity is our greatest strength.
Actually gonna take that guy off the board for now. One, two, three, four, five, six, 7. Now that's not bad, but we need this. So we should have and could have blocked a little bit differently there. Actually, we could have put that Athreos on their 1 drop. That could have been something.
We will adapt to
Not lethal yet. Here we go. What do I want to take? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, 7, 7, 7. What is the right play? Two gives us 2 blockers. This is still going to be pain on 3. But what I don't know is if we take them, battlefield under our control. So if we go Kazandu, we'll get 1. We're still not going to have enough. I think they have us I think they have us either way because we just don't have enough blockers here. I can go to 3. We'll get 2. We're still going to be able to get 1 guy through on the damage. Still get 1 through on the damage. We can take a crusher. There'll be 2 guys. Actually, that's what we do. So I think this is it, actually. So we take the Kazandu. And then, nope, it's not it, because they still got the 1. Oh, we're 1 short. We're 1 short. Yeah, that wasn't it. Even if we would have brought Omen back, we would have had 3 blocks, and it would have been at 3. So they still would have got it. Now they don't know what we're holding up. There, they got it. Yeah, they were good. Oh, good match. We saw Athreos though, so I'm happy about that. Very, very happy about that. And additionally that you guys saw that Skyclave trigger doesn't go anywhere else. Let's see what we had for funsies. Nice. And good game. Super, super fun. Very close. Very, very close. Good matchup against gruul there. So best of 1. We are now done. Great matches. Let's go ahead and play some best of 3. Deck does take a little bit. Standard rank, there's the Jund mid-range deck we did yesterday, the number 3 deck from the 5K Caladium SCG qualifier, but we are playing the Athreos Prison deck today. So awesome, awesome, awesome. As always, again, Planeswalkers, huge thank you. Please feel free to subscribe to the channel down over there. Looking to hit 10,000 subscribers. Additionally, like the video if you enjoy it. You guys can also like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter and Twitch. Stay up to date on content like this. Other great ways to support the channel down below in the description, my friends, like becoming a patron or a YouTube member. Great ways for us to interact and have benefits. Love doing deck list reviews, those kinds of things. And if you do got questions or comments, please let me know throughout the video, and feel free to hop into the Discord server. It's all down below in the description, my friends. All right, so Pantoufle. All right. So I like this. I'll keep it. We got some decent stuff here. Best of 1 splits. Okay with that. We got to see Athreos in action, so I'm happy with that. If there was anything besides the first matchup win and everything else, I'm pretty happy about all these things. So we'll keep that. We'll get to 5. We were just off on mana by 1. If we would have hit that other 1 mana, we could have came back. So how it goes, my friends. So now we'll dump that. Green, and they didn't go green. Oh man, what are these guys doing here? We'll see. I'm okay with that. That is okay, minus the deck thinning, but I will deal with it. This is certainly an interesting deck. Let's see if we can get Arkansas's Grace on. Probably playing control. Ooh, okay. Not a control deck. It's got to be ultimatum then. Yeah, adventure ultimatum. I'm okay with that. So here's what we do. We do this. We will do this. Oh, getting that stuff out of their hand. So here's what we're actually going to do. We could have bounced it after, but that's fine. One, two. They have 4. They can take Arcane Sun's Grace off if they want. Now they can't. We're good. Oh, our best of 3 match might be the fastest. Okay, so we have, my friends, a good old ultimatum deck. So we have to play this a little bit differently. Glass Casket is not as valuable in my opinion. I like Shepherd of the Flock Bounce that we saw from the best of 1. I like those. Elspeth Conquers Death is going to be helpful. Another Arcane of Sun's Grace. Treacherous Blessings are nice. I do like pulling out of their hands as well. We'll drop Omens of the Deads. And then we'll drop an Extinction Event as well. So we have decent control stuff. Once we get to the higher levels, we'll need Doom Foretold on the Exile, which I'm okay with for now. And we still got our 2 kill spells, and we got some discard and some early game stuff. So I think this is going to work. We'll go with this. Obviously, if we need to change up after the first match, we'll kind of figure that out. But we're paired up pretty high. So good to see an ultimatum deck here again. Let's see what we want to do. So we don't have a good color match. This is much better. We'll keep this. I'm actually going to dump an Elspeth Conquers Death here. All right, so we got some good stuff here. Oh, another Doom. That would have been super, super nice. Alright, so we can play our Treacherous Blessing. We're good. I'm going to play another best of 3. We had that lockdown, so I do want to show the deck a little bit more. So we'll do one more best of 3 for you today. That was the fastest best of 3 I've done in a while. So great deck. Let's go ahead and play one more here. I'm probably going to regret this, but no, it's all good, my friends. So we'll do a second best of 3 because that was a relatively quick one. Guessing based off what they had, they did not have a good color pairing, or that was probably the first time maybe they were playing ultimatum. I don't know, but we will go play another one. I really wanted to get Athreos going again. Mataka, here we go. So we'll play first. I like it. We'll keep it. Because we got this guy. It's actually not the best keep because we don't have the ability to scry. We don't have deck thinning. We have some kills. Shepherd's value's less, but I'm gonna play it anyway because that is what we do here, my friends. Uh-oh, gruul deck. gruul deck. Oh, I'm seriously debating if I want to kill this thing. Oh, I'll take the 1 damage. Not best practice, but I'm actually going to deck thin earlier, even though I had this. Because, so we need another. Let's grab the planes. There we go. That helped us. There we go. Oh. So this is why I waited patiently. We'll go from there. At 5, I'm gonna have to play Yorion. I don't want to, but I'm going to. I'm gonna lose the value. I'll live with it and deal with it, and we'll play with it either way. You can always pull it back with Shepherd here. Nope, guess not. We're gonna do this. I lied. All right, it's gonna be death by 1/1s of the gruul deck. There you go. So here's a little bit of value. So now we'll get the other Yorion in. So we can bounce Glass Casket 2 turns in a row. We'll see what happens with Cleave. Oh, this is painful. We need to get like an instant kill spell here. 3 red. All right, so we got all kinds of things that we can do now. So no matter what they bring at us, we will have to block it. Oh, if only we could get this guy on. We need a turn though. Works for me. We can go 2 here. Oh, I can get that thing off the board though. Let's do this actually. We can do Doom Foretold. And we'll do this. And we'll put that back into our hand. Get that out. Now we can thin. And I'm actually going to gain 3 life here. Just because they're making me nervous. There we go. If they have a cleave here. If they have a cleave here, they have it. Because I can't block. And they'll be at 12 damage. So we'll see. Oh, nope. All right, so we're still in it. Here is... Do I bounce and bounce? I'm gonna save that. My turn. So we'll look. Keep that. So now we play this guy. Oh, shoot. That hurt me on the Elspeth. Whoops. Let's take him. I will take that. Too late. Ah, I hurt myself there. I deserve that. I do deserve that. So let's get... We need to get Athreos on the board. Uh-oh. So, pump this guy back. Play a top deck match. There we go. That was perfect. We couldn't have asked for anything better there. So now we can attack in and we can use Yorion Sky Nomad and pull everything back. It's going to be super, super nice, my friends. So here's what we will do. We will do this. I will keep that. We can hit him next turn. I should have attacked in first, got over aggressive there on my play. Well, not that one. We can pull this one back. Do it on my own guy, just in case. Oops, I forgot the glass casket. Whoopsies. We'll come back. We will come back. Oh my gosh, so many mistakes. I apologize, you guys. Playing too fast right now. So my guy. And then let's exile his board. Ah, shoot. 1, 2. Can't see everything. 3. Let's try that. Yes. Let's see what happens. We've got a lot of stuff going on here. Let's gain 3 life. Let's exile that guy. Then we could keep blinking Yorion if we wanted to. Close to lethal. 8, 11, we have lethal. So we'll see. I got good old Brushfire with a Fabled Passage. Oh, that was a sloppy game on my end, but got through it. So good to know that even this deck plays well for dummies. Alright, we got that off the board. Continue to be a top deck. Let's bring this guy back. This is where we need Treacherous Blessing. Keep that guy. There they go. Oh, oh. Uh-oh, we need some exile here, fast. Very, very fast. We may be in trouble, my friends, on this. That's alright. I like the matchup. Better than our best of one gruul matchup. The other thing that'd be nice in here is Castle Vantris as well. so let's attack with both of these and see if they come back. Mainly, I'm just curious if they should, but... it's only a creature, so there you go. The tokens do not go away. Let's try 2. We'll keep that. If we kill something, let's go with this. So here's where we could have put it on Charming Prince too, so if we would have blocked the Embereth Shieldbreaker. We're at 21. All right. There, they got it. Oh man, I take it for the misplays, my friends. Take it for the misplays. Oh, I deserve that. I do deserve that. Shatter the Sky conquers this. I like these, and I do like those too. We'll dump those. Glass Casket's still helpful. Charming Prince isn't bad. Flock's nice. I'm gonna dump Acquisition Expert. 88 cards to go. 88 cards. Extinction Event. Let's dump. 5 more. Woman's nice. I'm liking all the exiles, so that's just my play. Oh, go. Well, I do like that. Turn 3. Go 2 more. Bounce is nice. Dump 1 Yorion. We'll go 1 Treacherous. There we go. All right. So that was the other thing I should have said. Castle of Antris and Lochwin. Having 1 or 2 of those would be good in this too. If you do go down this path that I happen to go down to with a very, very long best of 1 match or best of 3 match. Like I said, though, I deserve this. I should be up 1. I should have been paying more attention to my bounces, but played too quick. And that is what happens here. All right, so we'll play first. Don't know. We'll keep it. I don't like having that many, but we'll get 1 of each here. Could hurt, could help. We'll find out. There we go. We're okay. Get to 4 and we're good. So I'm going to slow roll Elspeth here. Now, I should have played that earlier. I wasn't paying attention. Deserve it once again, my friends. Do I take the mammoth with the casket? I think we do. Oh, clicking too fast. I need to slow down. So used to best of 1. Boom, 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 boom. So we got plenty of good options here. I can play the Foretold. I can play Start of the Sky if I need to. Got a lot of good things we can play here. This I like, but we don't need it quite yet. Let's get this guy off the board. If we get a land here, which is what we need, we'll be okay. Nope, this works.
That's it.
Well, we're still alive. We don't have the land yet. Sideboard worked. Cleave. They have enough for it. They also have enough to Bone Giant my Skyclave. So the best play for me here is if I get another land to attack in and then wipe everything with Shadow of the Sky if they don't block Skyclave there. Here we go. So now what I do is create a new play. Because I didn't block the Skyclave. And we do this. So now we can wipe their board next turn. I will take that. Oh, if they have cleave, I am done again. Oh, I deserve that. 12. Oh. Unfortunate, my friends. I deserve the first game, second game, not so much. Unfortunate. Mataka did a nice job. Should have quit at the first one, but wanted to show the deck a little bit more. We saw some good interaction on the first one. Couple misplays. I apologize. Moving too fast. But let's go ahead and check out today's deck. Again, this is the Athreos Prison deck. Very excited about this. Super fun. Hats off to Han Horling here again on the top 100. Additionally, CGB and good old Andrea Minucci here for the just a shout out for the foretold. So with that said, Planeswalkers, here's what we got going on. We got to see all the interactions. We got to see the deck do a ton of cool things today, so very excited about that. I did miss, unfortunately, never perfect. That's what happens. That's real life, and we move on, we go on. We can still make MQs that way, and that's how it goes. So with that said, Planeswalkers, really enjoyed the deck. Super fun, great best of one. I think it could be very good in best of 3 as well. Sideboard set up nicely for you to at least give you a start. Feel free to tweak it, like I said. Here's what we got going on. And again, as always, if you got questions, comments, let me know down below. Hop into the Discord channel. Would love to see you. Would love to hang out, chat with everyone. Additionally, please feel free to subscribe to the channel down over there as I make my way towards 10,000 subs this year. Really appreciate that support. Please feel free to like the video if you enjoyed it. You can like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter and Twitch, stay up to date on content like this. And as always, Planeswalkers, other great ways to support the channel down below in the description. So until next time, Planeswalkers, I hope you guys enjoyed this deck. Super fun. Athreos Prison. Got to see some good connections. Maybe I threw that game on purpose. No, I did not, but you never know. So with that, again, super cool deck. Great one for us to play. Top deck here going into January. Love covering these things. Love covering supporter decks. So Planeswalkers, you stay safe, you take care. Until next time, Mithras out. I will see you guys again soon. A lot of things coming your way, so stay in touch, and next time.